Okay, ready to start? Nicole, are we ready to start?
Yes, sir.
Call this meeting to order at 6:03. Roll call?
I do have a quick housekeeping item. It is listed on here, alternate member Darnisha Beeler. However, she did have to remove herself from the committee due to a conflict of interest. So she will be getting removed from the roll call. Resident member Christian Fernandez.
I'm here.
Resident member Ron Rader.
Present.
Chairman Vanderpool stated he would like an excused absence this evening, as well as Treasurer Patel asked for an excused absence. Councilmember David Fenn
Here.
and Councilmember Julio Martinez.
Here.
Do we have any adjustments to the agenda, Nicole?
No, sir. Do you have any as far as the order?
Conflict of interest? If none, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Please. Hand over your heart. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Nicole, do we have anybody for public comment, please?
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
There are no callers on the line.
Okay, under C1, approval of minutes. I guess we need to make a motion. I am certain committees I'm on, we don't make a motion, but apparently we do here. So could I have a motion to accept the minutes from our last meeting?
Chair, I'll make that motion to approve the minutes for January 27th, 2025.
I'll second.
Let's do it. We'll do a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C2, establish policies, financial policies update. Guess where this report will be given by Jennifer Eustachian, please, or Lisa Leach.
Lisa Leach. Actually, it's me.
Okay.
Well, good evening, Chair and committee members. Each year during the budget process, the city's financial policies are reviewed and updated by the Finance Department and prepared for City Council adoption. The recommended action for this item is that the Finance and Audit Committee review and discuss any changes to the policies and forward on to the City Council for final adoption. We have two items for our 2025 City of Beaumont policies update. So I thought we would start with the 2025 City of Beaumont financial policies changes. We can have discussion and address any questions, and then we'll work on the second one, which is the internal service fund policy. So the first one, the changes to the 2025 city's financial policies is actually not that many this year compared to previous years. They consist of updates to the budget goals on page 21. There's some minor language changes on capital and other asset plans on page 28 and 29. And the capital improvement policies on page 64, 65, and 66. And this was requested by our Public Works Department. We've also updated on page 87 the purchasing and contract table. This matches the city ordinance and it assists the departments when purchasing goods and materials and understanding the difference between goods and materials, general service, professional service, and then public works projects. So we added a nice little table for the team. The verbiage of the ordinance has also been added to pages 90 and 91. On page 100, we have added some language on responsibilities of approval for grants policies. And then finally, we added language in the deposit-based funds policy to include the Public Works Department, as the original policy was designed for Community Development Department. So we wanted to include Public Works' process and policies in that area. And so those were the changes to the 2025.
Okay. Do you have any public comments?
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
No, there's no callers on the line.
Do any committee members have anything they want to talk about, any changes or discussion?
Mr. Chair? May I go ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So it's probably just too far of a strike through, but on agenda page 72, which is right above it says page 64, in the paragraph new construction, I think the word bonds was not supposed to be struck through. Am I correct on that?
Page 71.
On the agenda page, it says 72 at the bottom. It says 72 of 210. And the paragraph is near the bottom entitled New Construction.
Almost there.
I think somebody got a little carried away with yeah.
Oh, yes. It should just be standby letters of credit. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what correction, so just to confirm, what correction actually needs to be made there then?
Yes.
Okay, so it would read, the city requires surety bonds in a form approved by the city attorney and so on?
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought, all right. All right, and I found one more. This one's a little bit more grammatical. There was just a double word "the" on page 108. So I can get the exact spot. But while we're looking that up, I did go through it. I like the recommended changes; they made sense. So I didn't have any comments really into disagreeing with those changes. I just happened to see the two of those.
What was the one on 108?
I'm sorry, I'm a little slow to get to that one. Section 4.6 at the bottom.
4.6.
Am I right? Let's see.
Oh, yeah, the first sentence probably. Mm-hmm. All grant award acceptances must have approval from, yeah, the first one, the should be striked out. The city council is the way it should read.
Okay, all right. You saw it, but I haven't found it yet, but I know I had 4.6 and removed the word "the."
Yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, yeah, because I got it now. I'm looking for the red line, and it wasn't red
It
line in
wasn't
that
there.
one. It was two black
Yeah.
font
Yeah.
words. Okay. All right, Mr. Chair, I'm good.
Thank you, Councilmember. Do we have any more?
I got a couple.
Yes, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Chair. So when this comes back to council, what I would like on the staff report is exactly how you opened up. So when
Okay.
you opened up with on page, this is what we did on page 32. There's not too many of them where I think
Right.
that'd be help us. I
Okay.
did that for the public so they know exactly
Okay.
where you kind of went. So I went through it, and of course I saw all the red, but it's better to just way to direct them directly. So if you could do that, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Just to remind me, when you update the policy, as we did, you said that some of it was on the request of Public Works. Was there any other, where else did we correct? Well, let me rephrase. Who else puts input on when we need to correct? Is it something that you look at like other cities on what they're doing, or do you listen to staff and take in, or how do we go about modifying policy?
So we'll make any changes based on maybe best practices, advice. We do let each department kind of review it and let us know if anything else needs to be updated from their perspective. So everybody gets a look at it, once a year to make updates and recommendations.
Okay.
Sometimes processes change as well,
Yeah, of course. All
so
right.
we do updates for that.
The only thing, we will not update anything that is state law or best practice. So only in-house kind of cleanup items are things that we would modify.
Oh, you're right. Oh, and then, of course, obviously, you're following changes in whatever happens to add it to the policy and so forth. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, council member. Do we have any other questions, discussions? Christian, anything?
I'm pretty new, but I just had a quick question on this. Is there any, like document or any page that shows any corrections or updates? Like, will there be like line 4.6 was changed to this or update this? Or is it all changed on the existing document with like the complete of it?
Yeah, it's all changed on the existing document.
Okay. And I was just curious if there's anywhere like, anything that shows it, before and after.
Thank you. I guess we're looking for a motion to approve these policies. Can I have a motion?
Before we
sorry.
do that,
I'm sorry.
let me do the second section because it's all on one
Okay.
item
Oh,
for
I
the
see.
internal service fund.
Sure.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Okay. So the second part of the update is the addition of the internal service fund policy, which includes vehicles, equipment, facilities, and IT. The city implemented an internal service fund during fiscal year 2021. The internal service fund policy defines the reason for the fund and establishes guidelines for evaluating asset life cycles, replenishing funds, and ensuring timely replacements based on usage, condition, and technological advancements. The policy also mandates the formation of a review committee composed of key departmental representatives to assess asset conditions and replacement needs on an annual basis. The policy also establishes a 3.5% inflation rate factor to ensure that future replacements are adequately funded, mitigating the risk of financial shortfalls.
Okay. Now can we get a motion? Okay. Do we do a motion or then questions?
No questions first.
First, okay. Any more questions, please?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, so not seeing any red line in this section, was it the
Yeah, this is a
same
new-
general format, it's a whole new
This is a
report,
whole
right?
new policy,
Okay, all
yeah.
right. And what I do like on there, just, I guess more of a comment is, I appreciate the list of assets and showing the normal service life, because that's always good to know when, if we need to get rid of something because it's past its shelf life and.
Yes,
You know,
yeah.
or the number of miles that are listed on there too, so that's helpful. And I see information like that with Riverside Transit Agency, and so it's nice to see us doing the same, so thank you.
Welcome.
Any other questions, please? Nicole, do we have anybody for public comment, please?
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers on the line.
Thank you kindly. So now do we need a motion? Do we have a motion to approve the financial policies 2025?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Nicole, can we have a roll call, please?
Member Fernandez? Vice Chair Rader?
Yes.
Councilmember Fenn?
Yes.
And Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Motion carries. Okay. We'll move to, I'm sorry. Move to C3. Investment report, investments month. We can just do this, do we? Is that right? Yeah. Okay, C3. Okay, C3, are we, Jennifer, is that you?
It's me, yes.
Very good, thank you.
And good evening, committee members. Presenting to you this evening the fiscal year 24-25 third quarter investment report. That's January through March 2025. This report is required by Government Code Section 53646 and the city's investment policy. And the report will proceed to City Council after a Finance and Audit Committee review. The quarterly highlights include LAIF interest earnings for quarter two of $595,297. Public trust portfolio net income of $724,493. Wells Fargo sweep account interest for $234,132. The HCN interest for all accounts of $77,151. California class interest of $433,779. And the PARS had an investment gain of $2,702. For the portfolio overview, your Wells Fargo general and sweep balances as of March 31st are totaling $25.9 million. Your payroll, gas, tax evidence, construction accounts, and HCN are totaling $9.7 million. U.S. Bank investment portfolio for $75.8 million. LAIF investment is currently at $51.8 million. Your California class fund is at $40.2 million, and the PARS trust has $3.6 million. Investment activity, upcoming maturity is a BMO certificate of deposit that is going to mature on May 2nd of 2025. At that point in time, we'll evaluate the reinvestment options to meet liquidity and return objectives. As far as compliance goes, the portfolio complies with the government code and city's investment policy. And supporting documents include holdings, balances, and certifications. And the city's portfolio remains safe, diversified, and performing well. And the recommended action is to receive and file the third quarter investment report. And I'm open to any questions you have.
Do we have any questions about the report?
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Mr. Finn.
thank you. Is it possible to show what, obviously we have different dollar amounts for the different investment types. Is it easy to come up with just a percentage of say, okay, this is the money that's invested, the grand total, and then here's what we've earned this quarter, and just have a percentage for the quarter?
By account or investment type?
Just, I was kind of thinking it's just a grand total. Now, out of these investment types, are some for, I just lost the thought, the restricted funds, or is it all general fund monies?
So it's pooled funds.
Okay.
So we pull the funds together and then they are invested. So then you have investments as far as within your sweep accounts of the, like we have a sweep account for Wells Fargo or for a payroll account for HCN. We have CDs. So I don't know if you want it like categorized by percentage or just specifically, because they're different investments, right? So you
Yeah,
have like a sweep account versus CDs, or you have pools. So like LAIF would be an investment pool, California class is investment pool, whereas PARS is a retirement 115 trust.
Is it, like the LAIF, for example, that's almost 600,000. Hey, that's great, but is it 2%, 5%, 10%, you know? And,
Well, I think.
but then I know
you're
like
talking
sweep
about
accounts,
return.
they're.
Are you talking on the return percentage for like
Correct.
the? Okay, so if you look on the attachment for the pooled investments portfolio holdings, there is the current yield, and that is the current
You
yield.
said, I'm sorry, you said that's the pooled one?
Yes,
Okay, so page 164, am I looking at the right spot? Okay. All right, current yield estimate, okay, we've got them on the right-hand column there.
right.
That's
right.
it, okay.
Yes.
All right, that works. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilmember Finn. Is there any other questions for Jennifer?
Quick question.
Yes, Councilmember.
So on the interest, we have a policy of we just let the interest roll over on the ones that, not on the LAIF and stuff, but like the Wells Fargo and so forth. Do we take the interest out and put it in an account and then build what we have, or do we keep the interest and just let the principal build and keep adding to that?
So in the portfolios, it stays in there and builds. In your sweep accounts, that is used towards your operating. So say
Okay.
in the Wells Fargo, it's swept in there, and then it kind of goes back and forth into the general checking. And then we do budget for that, but your investment earnings normally are budgeted to one-time kind of costs, but it is within your operating budget each year.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? Nicole, do we have anybody? Do we have anybody on the line for,
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers on the line.
okay, thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to accept the,
Mr. Chair,
Investment.
I'll move to receive and file.
may I have a second, please?
I'll second. Get the button.
First and second, roll call, please, Nicole.
Member Fernandez? Vice Chair Rader?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm skipping over the absence. Councilmember Fenn?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Okay, our next activity is C4, quarterly budget and actual report. Is this going to be Jennifer?
Yes, it is.
Please.
I have a PowerPoint, so let's see if there they go. All right. So today I'll be presenting the fiscal year 24-25 third quarter budget to actual report as of March 31st, 2025. We'll walk through the general fund, wastewater fund, and transit fund results and discuss recommended budget adjustments. This report covers general fund revenues, expenditures, breaks down expenditures by department, and then reviews the wastewater and transit funds revenues and expenses. And we'll conclude with reviewing the budget adjustments and open up for questions. For general fund revenues, as of March 31st, 2025, the city collected 68% of its general fund budgeted revenues. Sales tax receipts have been recorded through January. And miscellaneous revenues appear over budget due to interest income across all funds, but those still need to be properly allocated to the other respective funds. Taxes collected at 75% of budget, and miscellaneous is at 205% of budget, but again, that's going to be reallocated, so that'll be just about with budget. Overall, revenues are tracking above budget projections, mainly due to a one-time $6.2 million sales tax audit correction we received, and that is a one-time revenue. So we are looking to be above. Your gray line on the screen is your estimated actuals. The orange is your actuals, and the blue is your current budget. And as you can see, most of our revenues do come from taxes. For general fund expenditures through the third quarter, they're at 49.4% of budget. Personnel costs make up 56% of actuals, operating costs 39%, and capital expenditures 3%. No expenditure categories are over budget, and estimated actual expenditures are coming in at $8.7 million below budget. Overall, combining revenues and expenditures in the general fund is projected to have a $15.6 million budget surplus, and that's based on trends. This is a picture of expenditures by department, and all of these charts are in thousands. Any department that is over or under budget by more than 10%, so we're 3/4 of the way through, so 75%. So if they're above or below more than 10% from the 75, then they have been highlighted. As you can see, we do have departments that are in the room, should you have any questions for them. But this is just a snapshot of where the departments currently are for this quarter. And I will stop there to see if there's any questions.
So I noticed the K-9 was 125.8%. What does that show us?
So they are over budget, so if you can see that their current budget is 17,000 and they're at about 22,000. The dog did have some dental work that needed to be completed, and it caused that budget to go a little bit above, so.
I wondered about that.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
About $7,000 worth of dental work.
hopefully he's back on duty. Oh, boy. Yeah, that just kind of struck me. Anyway, thank you for that.
I just wanted to give the committee a I have staff here tonight. So if there's individual questions about their budgets, they are tasked with
Perfect. Yeah, I see
answering those questions.
Kirk and Joey.
So
back- yeah.
feel free to fire away.
Well, thank you for that. Yeah, Mr. Martinez.
No, it went off the screen. Can I have that back real quickly? The PowerPoint? I don't know. There it is. Thank you.
And Julio, it's also on page 201 of the agenda.
Oh, was it? Well, I
Yeah.
was looking for that on there. Well, I'll do it here. It is quick. So the trends, you don't see any trends then with the ones that are highlighted of major concern to finance at this point? You said it was within 10% of the 75%?
So most of them are below. So most of them are below that threshold, which
Yeah,
would be
it looks like it.
65% or below. So that would point to us some underspending, or maybe there's expenditures are going to be coming up later on in the fiscal year. Sometimes things happen seasonally, which could be an issue too. The fire is significantly low, but that's because they are notoriously late on their invoices. So we have only received one of those invoices currently, so that'll catch up as we continue to get those and post them. But the departments are here should there be any questions specifically.
All right, I'm good overall. The numbers look pretty reasonable within budget and actual. I just was wondering if there was any surprises that or anything they foresaw that might be coming up that they might want to mention, so we don't see it the other way when it comes back. But does anybody see anything that might, so when we don't, go the other way and then we freak out? All right, well, I'm comfortable with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, council member. Do we have any other?
Mr. Chair, I do have one.
Yes, Mr. Finn.
Kurt, can you come on up? I know. That's why I'm going to ask him.
Yeah.
So just more for the public, and I know the council knows this a little bit, so again, welcome to the city of Beaumont. We're glad to have you and your help as well. So we've got a big difference between 380,000 that's been spent so far and the 2 million that's been budgeted.
Yeah.
Does this include both payroll for you guys just starting, and also is it the lack of taking advantage of the incentives that we have to have out there? Is the incentives part of that 2 million?
There's really three major components, and you've touched on two of them. One is most of the lion's share of the staffing. Joseph's been here all fiscal year, but Laura started 2 weeks before me, and I started. So we're coming in at the fourth quarter of the fiscal year. So that's one significant piece of it. Another one is the lack of people taking advantage of the budgeted incentive programs. And now that we're fully staffed, we're going to be trying to do more outreach. And in fact, Joseph and I talked today, and Laura, about a strategy to start meeting with a number of business and property owners downtown to try and make sure they're aware and trying to promote those programs. And then the other piece is under contractual services. A couple of the big things, or one big thing that we intended to do this year was to update the Economic Development Strategic Plan. And so we will get an RFP out for that this fiscal year. I don't know if we'll get a consultant on board, but we will try to get that underway before the end of the fiscal year. And then one of our significant consultants that's done a lot of work for us is one of those ones that's not real good about billing us on time. So we'll be working with him to make sure we get 30-day kind of turnaround on invoices. So those are the principal reasons why you see that variance.
Okay, thank you. And then, I think I'm calling it correctly, the ICSC trip. Has that happened yet? And is that a part of this budget?
Yeah, so all the expenses related to ICSC travel, registration, hotels and so forth, those will be.
That's part of this line item, or this, part of the 2 million that's budgeted?
Jennifer, correct me if I'm wrong, but ICSC is budgeted to the respective departments, correct?
Correct.
Right, so.
Oh, it just gets divided up?
Yeah, city
Okay.
manager, deputy city manager expenses are charged to admin. Economic development staff is charged to economic development. Council's charged to council.
Gotcha, okay.
Yeah, so, but that doesn't happen until the end of May, so there's a lot of outstanding expenditures that haven't, you'll see in the fourth quarter.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kurt.
I got another question.
Councilmember Martinez.
So just, I was thinking of things that pop up. So we have before us tomorrow some expensive requests. And my question is concerning this, especially in the police support and so forth. With what we know is coming up in our budget versus what's being requested in that item tomorrow, is that foreseen to pull us over the budget, or is that still within the budget possibly?
I have to recuse myself on that
Oh,
item,
I
so I
forgot
can't
about
answer.
Killing me. I'll go to Jennifer then.
I am not on, for tomorrow nights, I'm not prepared to answer on that yet, but
Okay,
I
so
can tell you there
tomorrow-
are some unprogrammed revenues still within the budget, but depending on what the total cost is, it depends on where the money's gonna be coming from. I'll have
Okay,
to,
so tomorrow you'll be able to.
Yeah, I'll give you
okay,
something
so
for that
it'll
tomorrow.
pop up again tomorrow, so, okay, then that's fair enough. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Do we have any public comments? Nicole?
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers on the line.
Any more discussion by the committee?
okay, if you're ready, I can move forward to wastewater.
If not, I'll ask for a motion to file.
Oh, I'm continuing, I'm not quite
We got
done
one
yet.
more.
We got one more?
They do the wastewater because it tends to be restricted funds.
Yeah, mine won't go any further. Okay,
All right, so.
please accept my apology.
No problem. We will move on to wastewater revenues. And the wastewater fund revenues are 76% of budget, and billing is completed bi-monthly. And the largest component are trending positively. That's your billings. We have done 4 out of 6 billings to date. And estimated revenues are coming in at trending at 1.2 million above the budget. For wastewater expenses, they're total 58% of budget amount. No expense categories are over budget. Personnel costs make up 21% of expenses, operating costs at 40%, and debt service and transfers at 38%. Estimated expenses are coming in, are projected to be 867,000 below budget, resulting in an estimated 2.1 million surplus for wastewater. Wastewater surplus then does go into cover reserves. Your repair and replace reserve would then absorb that and be ready to handle future projects. And I'll stop there if you have any questions on wastewater expenses.
Any questions about that?
I do have a quick one.
Council member?
Yeah, so, Thaxton, just real quickly, you thought you'd get out. No. So do you foresee any large item? I know as far as upkeep and something that might be coming to the end of its life or something we might need to upgrade or so forth, do you see anything like that within the next couple of years that we need to start looking at?
Well, we do have some things we listed as CIP projects, certainly, and then we also are bringing the solar project, which really isn't a replace, but a new project that was not conceptual at the time of the rate study or anything. But specifically for some of the overages here, what's not seen on here yet, some of the, so every year, wastewater transfers approximately 1.5 million over to the general fund, and that's only at a 50% reflected on this, even though we're 3/4 through. So right off the top, we're missing, 375,000 should be deducted. San Bernardino Valley is notoriously slow for charging for our brine line expenses, and that's over 30,000 a month, so we're a couple months there. And then some of it is scheduling. When we do route control and things, that company that comes around tries to get others in the region, so we kind of get on a calendar schedule. And then, of course, our emergency out at the golf course is going to chip away at some of that. We have some contingency budgeted, but it's going to exceed any budgeted contingency.
How about your systems that we have, the ROs, the membranes and stuff like that, if they're pretty much still going through their life?
Yeah, so some of those are expendable, consumable items. This year, we purchased new Trojan UV light bulbs. So that is being done in this current fiscal year. Future fiscal years will include the RO modules. They are consumable, will need to be replaced. Your aeration sleeves, that is in next year's budget, and we're going to phase them in by basin. The membranes themselves, they're on a little bit longer one, but 10 to 15 year, depending on, real life observation. But yeah, all those things are consumable parts. And then you have other things for growth. We're having issues, we're maxing out our solid handling capacity. We put centrifuge on there generically. I just returned from CWEA conference, actually kidnapped a couple of people and brought them out on Thursday to see our plant. And they have an alternative strategy of pre-treating, thickening the sludge before it goes in the centrifuges to maximize, but it'll still follow in that same CIP project.
Interesting. Okay, I appreciate that.
Sir?
Thanks, Chair.
Okay. Do we have any other questions? If not, I guess we go to the next section. Transit revenues?
Transit, we'll start with transit
Thank you.
revenues. Transit revenues have received 77.2% of the budget. Primary revenues come from RCTC reimbursements received monthly. Miscellaneous revenue is over budget due to lease revenues that were not originally included in the budget. And they are expecting to exceed the current year budget. Transit expenses are at 66% of budget. Personnel costs are the largest share at 83% of actual expenditures. And no expense categories are over budget at this time. And the transit fund is projected to end under budget. Do you have any questions?
Any
or-
questions? Hearing none. Budget adjustments.
So we do have some recommended budget adjustments. For general fund, you will notice that the K-9 is on there, and that's for the dental cost that we discussed earlier. Building and safety is requesting to increase the budget for plan check fees. They do have a revenue offset for this. There was a receipt that was collected in the last fiscal year for a project occurring in this current fiscal year. And that has been input into the actuals for the current fiscal year. For two other funds, we do have a request to increase the budget for the self-insurance fund, and that's $50,000 for settlement costs. And the PEG fund, there is a request to increase the budget for equipment supplies. And with that, I'll take any questions you have.
So are we adjusting the budget? Do we need to do it for this golf course problem that we have? For
That would be within wastewater, like Vaxon was speaking about, that they do have contingency,
They
but
have
that is
contingency
getting
for that.
eaten up from that. So what we'll do is when we get the final cost on that is we'll have to
Then we'll
review
have
where
to
they are
make that
at.
adjustment. Yeah, okay. Very good. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none. Any public comments?
I have no written requests. Jackie, do we have any callers on the line?
No callers on the line.
Thank you. So I'm looking for a motion to receive and file this, this information. Could I have a motion, please?
I think everybody's just trying to be polite, let the other person do it. I move to receive and file.
We got a motion to receive and file. Do I hear a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
We have a second. Roll call, please. Nicole?
Member Fernandez?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rader?
Yes.
Councilmember Fenn?
Yes.
Councilmember Martinez?
Yes.
Nicole, I see that see on D as subcommittees. I didn't even know I was on that subcommittee. what are those subcommittees and what do we need to report out of those subcommittees?
I believe these were established a year ago or so to be able to use on an as-needed basis. So these are standing items on the agenda, reoccurring, so that if there is
there
a
is a-
use for them, it's
Sure.
already agendized.
Okay, otherwise we'll just go to the next,
Correct.
to the finance director comments. I'm sorry, treasurer review. I don't think our treasurer's here, is that correct? So we won't have treasurer reviewing comments. We will be asking for finance director comments.
Yes, thank you. Just to kind of touch on the consultant review committee, our contract with our investment advisors is expiring February of 2026. So later this year, we will be putting out an RFP. We will be coming back at the next meeting with an item to set a committee that will be a part of that RFP process.
So that committee will be for the purpose of what again?
Is selecting the investment advisor.
Investment.
Yeah, so similar to what we did with the audit, we would request 2 members to be a part of the RFP process for the investment advisors.
So we're looking for an investment advisor, is that correct?
Right.
Or group,
Correct,
whatever that is.
correct.
Okay.
And then the only other thing I want to report out is we did have our auditors came out for interim audit. It was April 14th. They did internal control testing. And so far, so good. We haven't heard anything, and they will be back out in October for our fiscal year 25 audit.
So far, what we're looking at is a continuation of basically the same group. We're looking at them working hand to hand with us, and everything is seamless, and no surprises with the new approach, if there is a new approach.
No, it's yeah,
It's
pretty much
basically the same thing,
yeah,
continuing. Okay, well, I thank you for that, because I know the finance department looked very hard and asked the right questions about the candidates, the 3 that we had, so I was very impressed with being a part of that, so I appreciate that. So, anyway, I'm going to ask if any of our committee members have anything they'd like to say at this time.
I do have a question, Chair. So since we lost an alternate, we don't have another alternate standby, right?
Correct.
All right, so I'm assuming that's coming back to council to put an alternate back on?
We will advertise, and then if we get any applicants, yes.
Okay, and what does it say? Is it 1 alternate, or can we have 2? Or you don't have to?
I'd have to look at the
Yeah, you don't
bylaws
have
to
to do it
see.
now, just for whenever it comes back. It's just, I figured if we had 2, then we'd be able to move them. We wouldn't have to keep
Oh, sure.
doing it.
Yeah, that's a good idea. And then if I could jump in, are there any other commissions or committees that are lacking a position? Or is it just this one?
Just this one.
Okay. It's always nice to bundle them together if we have them, but.
Yeah, if you don't want to be on this one, maybe you'd like to be on this one.
And then just another comment, and just to confirm, so should that audit have a finding, then that's where the internal control committee would step in and
That's correct.
reactivate and go through
Correct.
that. Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Well, I want to thank Jennifer, Elizabeth and her group for being here tonight. Thank you for the information, Kirk. And looks like our next meeting will be on July 27th. And if there are no more questions, we are adjourned.
Oh, boy. Yeah. Okay.
Boy, that's
Yeah.
a heavy-handed gamble, isn't it?